Morning, guys. Morning. I'm sorry about the noise outside, but I am next to school here, so there are a lot of kids, and people, well, making a lot of noise, but that's okay. It's, I can't help it. Well, there are some things you cannot change in life. Some things we cannot change. Well, okay, guys, thank you for attending the session. Also, well, you will have the possibility to watch this recording later on. And today we are going to talk about a very interesting, a very interesting topic. Okay, we are going to talk about, well, this is another questionnaire, another grammar questionnaire for you, and it's a questionnaire that deals with conditionals. It's a little bit complicated topic. It's not easy. It's kind of intermediate level, topic. And it's a grammar questionnaire. And the code for the grammar is the second one. Is this one? Let me share I will share the learning guide with you guys to show you the code for the questionnaire. This is the code GA3AA2EV01. Okay. This is a questionnaire. It says here that it belongs to level 5. It's like an intermediate, eh, high intermediate level, I would say. So in this questionnaire, let me stop sharing this. I will start sharing the lesson plan for today. Um, I will show you this lesson plan. Is This is the questionnaire, it's 15 questions. You will have 1 hour to answer the questionnaire. And here we are going to, I want to tell you about the topics you will find in the questionnaire. Okay. This is about conditionals, zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. So we will devote the whole session today to talk about conditionals. As I told you, it's not easy, but it's not impossible to do. Okay, so for this purpose, I have some pages, some websites I'm going to share with you here through our chat box. Okay, this is from the British Council. This is the web page of the British Council, and it's a good material to talk about conditionals. Okay, you can access different kinds of material you will have and you will face on the internet. Okay, so there are a lot. This is another one. This is another page for conditionals as well. So this page for from the British Council, it talks about zero, first, and second conditions. Okay. Um, uh, look at examples to see how zero, first and second conditionals are used. Okay? These are examples of zero, first, and third conditional. If you freeze water, it becomes solid. Okay? Zero conditional. First conditional, if it rains tomorrow, I'll take I'll take the car. First conditional. And second conditional, if I lived closer to the cinema, I would go more often. Okay? So here they will give us examples, more examples about zero conditional. If I drink too much coffee, I can't sleep at night. Ice melts if you hit it. You know, those are examples of zero conditional. First conditional, if it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. Arsenal will be top of the league if they win. First conditional. And second conditional, if we had a garden, we could have a cat. Okay, the second conditional is used to imagine present or future situations that are impossible or unlikely in reality. If we had a garden, we could have a cat. If I want a lot of money, I would buy a big house in the city or in the country. Okay, well, let me share that I I haven't I wasn't sharing this. Let me see. This one, I'm sorry. So sorry. This is the page, for zero conditional. There are a lot of examples. First conditional, zero conditional. If I drink too much coffee, I can't sleep at night. We use zero conditional to talk about things that are generally true, especially for laws and rules. First conditional, we use the first conditional when we talk about future situations we believe are real or possible. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, I'll go to the beach. And the second conditional is used to imagine present or future situations that are possible or impossible or unlikely in reality. If I want a lot of money, I'll buy a big house in the city or in the country. Okay? To the second page, to the second website, I'm sorry, this one. Let me share it with you. So give us a lot of examples for conditionals. First conditional, if clauses condition plus the condition. If a condition exists, comma, the result will be true. Okay, so this is the first condition. Present simple, continuous, or perfect. Future, any type, imperative, or modal. If you study, you will pass the exam. Future, okay? If it doesn't call, if he doesn't call, you should tell, modal, you should tell me immediately. Okay, that is examples of first conditional. And if you study, you will pass the test. If he doesn't call you, tell me immediately. Okay, examples of first conditional. First versus zero conditional. We use the first conditional to talk about particular situation, whereas we use zero to talk about what happens in general. For instance, if you heat the water, it boils. If you melt, if you melt the ice, it will become liquid. Okay, so zero conditional. If the ice hits, it melts. Zero condition. There are also examples of second conditional here. If I won the lottery, I would buy a yacht. If I had a better salary, I could travel more. Okay, second conditionals. And third conditional. The third conditional to talk about past, hypothetical, or unreal situations. If you had come to class, you would have passed the exam. Okay, here we have more examples. If you had come to class more often, you would have passed the test. Well, so those are the pages for the uh, exam we will have during this week. And now I want to share two short videos about conditionals as well. Okay, so let me share the two videos. They are, well, we are going to watch just 5 minutes in each video. Okay, no more. Then you can go back to the videos and watch the videos anytime.
I'm, and today we're going to look at the four conditionals plus mixed conditionals. Okay, I'm going to begin with a general overview of the conditionals, and I will get more specific as the lesson continues. In English, we have four conditionals: 0, 1, 2, and 3, plus mixed conditionals. Each conditional has an if clause, comma, and a main clause.
You see in the video, well, if zero conditional is present simple, and the main clause is in present simple as well. Okay? And for the first conditional, present simple, and the main clause is with the will or the infinitive plus the infinitive. Okay? In the second conditional, if past simple, comma, plus would plus infinitive. In the third clause, in the third conditional, if plus past perfect, comma, plus would have plus past participle. Okay, that is the structure, the grammar structure for these conditionals. Go on.
The if clause condition. When I say condition, I mean situation. And the main clause gives us the result. The 0 and the first conditional express real, possible conditions and results. The second and third conditional express impossible, hypothetical, unreal conditions and results. Mixed conditionals are a combination of the second and third conditional. So, I know it looks like a lot of information, but by the end of this lesson, you'll feel a lot more confident and comfortable with conditionals. So, let's begin. Let's begin with 0. 0 conditional. Condition, result. If plus present simple, present simple. We use the 0 conditional to express real conditions and results that are always the same. Same in the past, same in the present, same in the future. For example, here I have 2 trees. If the wind blows, the trees move. If plus present simple, present simple. This is real because wind always moves trees, right? This will never change. So you can move the clauses around and there's no difference. Maybe there's a little difference, a mini difference. In writing, if your if clause comes first, add that comma. If your main clause comes first, you don't need a comma. So throughout this lesson, you'll see I'll kind of change things up. I'll start with the if clause, I'll start with the main clause, just so you know, both ways are absolutely fine. If I drink coffee after 3 p.m., I don't sleep at night. If plus present simple, present simple. This is always true for me. It's always the same. Same in the past, same in the present, same in the future. I don't sleep at night if I drink coffee after 3 p.m. Same thing. Now imagine you're giving someone a tour of a building. If you push this button, the lights come on. You can see this is always going to be the same. It's never going to change. This button will never do anything else. Imagine the zero conditional as a person. This person would be Miss Obvious. She would tell you everything you already know. For example, Farnell. Yeah? I have something really interesting to tell you. Okay. If you leave ice cream in the sun, yeah, it melts. Yes, yes, it does. People get hungry if they don't eat. So you can see the zero conditional is very good at expressing things that are always true, things that never really change. When you get home, call me. If Phil calls, don't answer the phone. If you accidentally drop some trash, pick it up. Call me. Don't answer the phone. Pick it up. These are all imperatives, right? An imperative is a command. We can use the imperative in the zero conditional. You can see the grammar is the same. If present simple, present simple. But here, I'm using when. When you get home, call me. So what's the difference between if and when? If you put a stone in water, it sinks. When you put a stone in water, it sinks. There is no difference in meaning because this is always true. But sometimes there is a difference. Let's get specific. When? I'm certain this will happen. I'm expecting this. If? Maybe this will happen. When you get home, call me. In this situation, I'm expecting my friend to get home. Of course she's going home. We had dinner together, and now she's going home. We'll look at this again in the first conditional. First conditional. Condition, result. If plus present simple, will plus infinitive. What's the infinitive? You might know it as the base form. Infinitive base form is verb number 1. Eat, ate, eaten. Eat is my infinitive. Talk, talked, talked. Talk is also my infinitive. In the first conditional, you'll often see will plus infinitive, but other modal verbs are perfectly fine. Any modal verb that can give you that future feeling. Can, could, may, might. We can also use going to because going to is a future form. We use the first conditional for a possible future condition and its possible future result. If we don't leave soon, we'll miss our train. If present simple, will infinitive. If I'm late for work again, I might lose my job. present simple, might plus infinitive. When you tell Dan the news, he's gonna faint. Gonna, gonna. Of course, in spoken English, gonna is very lazy actually. When you're writing, you want to write going to. And faint. Faint is when you do this, when you're excited or scared or in love. So when you tell Dan the news, he's gonna faint. Of course, with all of these, you can also switch those clauses around, no problem. And you can see I'm using when. When I'm expecting this, I know you're going to tell Dan the news. So let's look at unless. Unless, what is unless? So unless is a very common alternative. It's a very common alternative for if not. If you don't get an invitation, you can't come to the party. If not, unless. Unless you get an invitation, you can't come to the party. Here I mean, no invitation, no party. If this program doesn't load, I won't be able to finish my work. If not, unless this program loads, I won't be able to finish my work. No load, no work. Zero conditional, done. First conditional, done. Let's compare them. If I have time, I work out. Workout means exercise. If I have time, I'll work out. So what's the difference? Zero conditional. This is true just generally in my life. If I have time, I work out. So I work out maybe 2 times a week. First conditional is more specific. It's about a specific future condition. What are you doing later today? Later today. If I have time, I'll work out. I'll. So remember earlier I said the second and third conditional express impossible, hypothetical, unreal conditions and results. Unreal, impossible, hypothetical. Sorry, I couldn't resist doing that. So just keep that feeling in mind as we look at the second and third conditional. Second conditional. Condition, result. If plus past simple. Would plus infinitive. Would is probably the most common modal verb you'll see, but you can also use other modal verbs. Might, could are also possible. We use the second conditional to speak about an imaginary, unreal, hypothetical, present or future condition, plus its imaginary,
Seis y media, camino Tai Chi, 7 minutos pretrabajo. Con 52 años, inicié pesando 242 libras. Ayer, mi jefe no me reconoció.
But I think it's important.
I am so sorry. I am sharing the links for the two videos here on our chat box and the two websites, okay, for you. Well, this will give you the possibility to watch the videos later on at any time, okay? When you have time, could be in the evening, could be, well, while you commute from work to your house or when you commute to El Sena or your working place or any other time, okay? So let's have a look to this video. It will help you and help us a lot as well. It's very interesting as well as the
Hello,
first.
everyone, and welcome back to of my students struggle with. There's so much to remember, but hopefully I can clarify lots of your doubts today. To help you even further, I have created a PDF which covers everything we're going to talk about, and it also has a quiz, so you can practice what you've learnt and you can check your understanding. If you would like to download that free PDF and quiz, all you've got to do is click on the link in the description directly to your inbox. After that, every week, as soon as I've made the PDF for each lesson, as soon as it becomes available, you will receive it in your inbox. It's automatic and very convenient, and it means every week you get lovely new activities and PDFs to review. Don't be afraid to share your results in the comment section. Right, let's get started with the grammar lesson. So we're going to talk about the four conditionals. We have the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, and can you guess? It's the third conditional. Each conditional sentence has a clause and a main clause. With all conditional sentences, the order of these clauses is not fixed, so you can swap them around. If I practice, I will get better. I will get better if I practice. It doesn't matter which way, but when you change the order of the clauses, the meaning is the same. Now we've got that out of the way, let's start with the zero conditional. Is in the clause and one parts of the sentence are in the present tense. Nice and easy. If this thing happens, that thing happens. Or that thing happens if this thing happens. We use the zero conditional. In general, there is a guaranteed result, like scientific facts. If you heat water, it evaporates. That's a scientific fact. We're not talking about specific conditions on that day or anything. In general, if you heat water, it evaporates. Interestingly, you can usually replace if with when or whenever without the meaning changing. When I am happy, I smile. I smile when I'm happy. Remember that when we use the word you in zero conditionals, we are often talking about people in general, not you in particular. If you melt ice, it becomes a liquid. Let's take a look at examples. If I'm sad, I eat chocolate. People die if they don't drink enough water. If you don't eat enough, you lose weight. British people get bored, they talk about the weather. That's a scientific fact. We often use the zero conditional to give instructions with the imperative in the main clause. If she rings the doorbell, tell her to go away. Text me if you get lost. Okay. Before we move on to the first conditional, I want you to check your understanding in that PDF to make sure you've grasped everything, you've understood everything. Right, let's move on to the first conditional. The first conditional has the present we use the first conditional to talk about things that might happen in the future. We can't know for sure what will happen in the future, but we can use the first conditional to talk about things that will probably be true. With the zero conditional, we spoke in general, but with the first conditional, we speak about the real world and about specific situations. Some examples. If we don't leave now, we will miss the train. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. If I see my boss, I'll ask her. Contraction of I will, I'll. I'll ask her. If it gets colder, we'll light a Now, it's important to express a recommendation, a degree of certainty, permission. Take a look. If we don't leave now, we might miss the train. If you study hard, you could pass the exam. Ask her. If it gets colder, we should light a fire. I'll be able to finish my painting if I have time. Right, let's move on to the second conditional. The second conditional after would and the infinitive, that's the most common, or would and the present continuous. And I'll explain this later, as sometimes this gets left out of lessons, but I think it's important that you see it in case you come across it and think,
me lo agradecerás.
Chicos, denme 10 segundos. Tengo 50 años y estoy casi igual que en mis fotos antiguas. El gimnasio no funcionó, el cardio no...
or if this thing happened, that thing would be happening. We can use the second conditional to talk about things in the fantasies. For example, if I won the lottery, I would buy a house in Barbados. Or if he had more money, he would buy a boat. We can also use the second conditional to talk about things in the present that are impossible. In this case, it's very common to use I were instead of I was. If I were you, I would stop poking the cat. I can't be you, it's impossible. But if I were you, I would stop that. It's a good way of giving advice. If he were younger, I would ask him out. It's impossible, he can't be younger, so I'm not going to ask him out. If I was taller, I would wear high heels. You can choose between I was and I were. I were sounds a little more formal. I've got a little extra bit of homework for you. I want you to answer it in the comment section down below. If you were an animal, which one would you be? If I were an animal, I would be a fruit bat because I'm completely addicted to fruit. Let me know. I'm so excited to see what you come up with. You always surprise me. Now let's talk about that continuous. Now for the slightly complicated bit. If this thing happened, that thing would be happening. If I spoke French, I would be living in Paris. I don't speak French, so I couldn't be living in Paris right now. If I had an exam tomorrow, I would be revising right now. Last one, the third conditional. I can't believe we're here already. Talk about a situation that did not happen and to imagine the results of this imaginary situation. We use if and past perfect, and then would, have, and past participle in the main clause. If this thing had happened, that thing. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam, but I didn't study hard enough, so I didn't pass the exam.
Okay, guys, well, those were the two videos. They are so important. They are so essential for you to pass the exam, okay? Let's use the first conditional, okay? If you watch the videos, you will pass the exam, okay? Or the zero conditional. If you study hard, you pass the exam, you know? So there are, well, good material. The two websites are excellent and so important. They have a lot of information as well as the two videos. They are so good. I chose them well after revising the videos, checking different videos. Well, I made a decision to well choose these two videos for you. Okay, these are very good. These are very important, and I know I am sure that if you revise the videos, if you check the videos, if you watch the videos, you will pass the exam. Okay, guys, thank you for attending the session. It was a real pleasure, and thank you for watching the recording later. Bye bye. Have a good one.